Kicking it with Gives a Minute on Kick. David Bowie, Young Americans, the album, the vinyl, the old vinyl, smells really old, is old. Look at this thing, guys. It's all corroded and crapped and, hey, it comes out easy.
This is a piece of vinyl that I picked up in a record, not a record store, a op shop, thrift store in Nowra, in the bounty of other records. I got a whole stack of records for $20. This was in there as well. Now, this is an album that I actually do know. I have this album, the CD version, I suppose, if you want, or the digital version, but I've never listened to it on vinyl. So how about today we do just that? We listen to this on the record player, and we enjoy ourselves to the tunes of Mr. David Bowie, Young Americans. But of course, before we do that, we are going to learn a little about it, right? That's the idea of these virtual vinyl streams. We want to learn about the record. We want to learn about this exact pressing. We want to find out if it's a rarity. We want to find out, you know, if this is worth more than $20 in a banquet of other... Banquet? I guess I could use that word. Bundle is the correct word. A bundle of other records, which you've already seen on these virtual vinyl streams. I do need to whack these glasses on because I can't see shit without them. It does say on the back here, personnel, studios, and operators. Young Americans was recorded at Sigma Sound in Philadelphia, mixed at the Sound House in London. Oh, sorry, that track. Okay, so, oh wow, so each track is done. Okay, so I thought that meant the album, but that the title track was those things, and then the track Win, recorded at Sigma Sound Philadelphia, mixed at Record Plant New York. Looks like they were all recorded at Sigma Sound except for Across the Universe, which is a Beatles cover. That was recorded at Electric Lady, and so was Fame. So 2 tracks that were not recorded in the same session is what I'm understanding. Record Plant was the mixing of choice. Aside from Young Americans title track, that was mixed at Soundhouse in London. Wait a second. Sigma Sound. Hold on. What? How many tracks are on this? 4 on side A and 4 on side B. 8 tracks in totes, but here... Oh no, it's just misleading how this is laid out. I don't know if you can see, but just the way this is laid out, like this is the track Young Americans, this is the track Win, this is the track Fascination, but then it goes all the way down to Fame, and then it continues on, and then it has the same format. It says Sigma Sound, it says Electric Lady, it says Record Plant, Young Americans, Win. I don't understand why they've done that. It's confusing to the layman. It's confusing to me. Acknowledgements. First of all, what year did this album come out? The year was... Shit, I can't see. Man, even that font is so small. This is a USA pressing. Damn, dude. I can't... even with these glasses on, I cannot see that... that the year this came out. I guess we will find it out though. Interesting artwork here. Like, wow, there's someone's written in ink on this. It says, "No good, rippled, rupled, muppled, puppled." Can you see that? Someone's written in ink right there. I don't know how well that's coming up in the light. It says, "No good, rippled." Use the magnifier app on your phone, you freaking genius, H-man. Magnifier. Is there one? Oh, you just mean the camera and pinch to zoom, right? By the way, I bought a new iPhone, but it's not shipping for another couple of weeks. Yeah, you just mean the zoom skis on the photo. I'll just zoom in. Yeah, good idea. TMK S registered Marcus registration RCA Corporation copyright. I'll give you a clue. Try to guess what year this album came out. I'll also clue you in. It's the same year I was born. So when I came out, this album came out. Now, you can argue which was better, you know? What changed the world more? David Bowie's Young Americans or me popping out and saying hello? 1975, Hendrik gets it. Bam! I was born in 75. This album came out in 75. And I got to tell you, I'm looking better than this album is. Interesting, the choice in artwork, it's kind of like the physical artwork is finished here, yet the actual, you know what I'm saying? Like the confines of the artwork is in this section, but there's also this perimeter around the top left and the bottom. Okay, that's a stylized piece of art. By the way, isn't she sexy on the front? Mrs. David Bowie. She's looking hot. Damn, dudes. Woo. Hello, 70s. Got the bangles going on there. Look at this corrosion here. Look at this corrosion. That's not on his on her arm or his arm. That's like a worm has eaten the plastic, the cardboard. You can see coming through there. So this is in pretty poor shape. What does rippled mean though? No good. Rippled. What would that mean? Let's have a look at the actual piece of vinyl. I have pulled this out earlier and I gave it a good wet clean. Rippled? It doesn't look straight, hey? Is that what rippled means? It's not going to sit flush on the toin table? Yeah, it doesn't look good. At the edges, it looks like it goes up on the edges. It's also a pretty flimsy piece of vinyl. What does it say on the front here? That's side B. We'll go to side A. Just says APL 10998A, Young Americans, David Bowie, on the RGA Victor label. Young Americans, Win, Fascination, Right. And side B skins. Somebody up there like me. Somebody up there likes me. Across the universe. Actually, not a Beatles track. Lennon-McCartney. Although that's the Beatles, right? But wouldn't... Oh no, they're the... Okay, so if it was Lennon, it wouldn't be a Beatles track, but it's Lennon/McCartney, so it's a Beatles track. Can You Hear Me? And Bowie. So 8 tracks in totes. I will give this a dust off with the little blower as well before we put it on. But I want to research it as well. But I just wonder what no good rippled means. Anybody know what rippled means when it comes to vinyl? You need to do an album cover like that. I like the left margin. I mean, it's interesting. Let's find out what rippled means when it comes to vinyl. Rippled vinyl. What does it mean? Meaning. Rippled vinyl. Melted record. I gotta move my laptop over a bit. Melted records. Melts affect play. You can usually hear a melt. A melt usually has different sheen and will make the needle wobble. Hold your vinyl up to a light and move the reflections around. If you can see weird ripples or patterns across the vinyl, this is a sign that your vinyl has melted. Uh-oh. Have we got a melted vinyl here? I wouldn't say it's... I don't think it looks... Something's not right, but it doesn't look like what it said there, but something is definitely funky. It's more so this side. What side is this? This is side B skis. Side B looks more gnarly, and it's only the very outside edge that looks a bit funky. That side doesn't look as bad. All right, touch wood that this works. While we're over here, though, let's find out about the album by going to Wikipedia. And type in Young Americans. Young Americans. 1975 studio album by David Bowie. I still got to move this over a bit further. Young Americans is the 9th studio album, 9th, wow, by the English musician David Bowie, released on 7 March 75 through RCA Records. It marks a departure from the glam rock style of previous albums, showcasing Bowie's interest in soul and R&B. Music critics have described the record as blue-eyed soul, while Bowie himself labeled the album's sound plastic soul. Plastic soul. Okay. Recording sessions began at Sigma Sound Studios in Philadelphia in August the year before, after the first leg of his Diamond Dogs tour. Record produced by Tony Visconti includes a variety of musicians such as guitarist Carlos Alomar, became one of Bowie's most frequent collaborators, the backing vocalist Ava Cherry, Robin Clark, and the then unknown singer Luther Vandross. Still unknown to me. As the tour continued, the setlist and design began to incorporate the influence of the new material. The recording sessions continued at the record plant in New York City at the tour's end. A collab between Bowie and John Lennon yielded a cover of Lennon's Beatles song Across the Universe. Wow, so John Lennon features on it. Shit, man. That's pretty cool. That's before he was shot. And Fame during a January 75 session at Electric Lady Studios, produced by Harry Maslin. The sessions produced several outtakes. The record went through numerous working titles. The cover artwork is a backlit photograph of Bowie taken by Eric Stephen Jacobs. Is that a backlit photo? I mean, yeah, okay. Well, it's not backlit, but it's got a nice hairlight. That's lit quite well from the front as well, if you're going to get technical. Okay, backlit, blah, bling, bling, bling. I would have called that a rim light. Young Americans was very successful in the US, reaching the top 10 on the Billboard charts. The single Fame became Bowie's first number one. Dude, his first number one hit came 9 albums in. It took him 9 albums to get a number one song? Why does everybody rate this guy like he's the greatest thing to have ever happened? He put out 8 albums before he had a number one hit. Those aren't good odds, David Bowie. Just saying. It has received mixed critical reviews both on release and in later decades. Bowie himself had mixed feelings about the album. His biographers consider it one of the most influential records, or one of his most influential records, noting him as among the first white musicians of the era to overtly engage with black musical styles. Uh-oh, be careful. You don't want to go down the avenue of cultural misappropriation back in 1975. Fuck. Uh-oh. The album... Just read that again. His biographers consider it one of his most influential records, noting him as among the first white musicians of the era to overtly engage with black musical styles. What the fuck does that even mean? Damn, I'm definitely getting a brewski. Hey Dale, how you doing, man? Thank you, buddy. I'm gonna get a homebrew. I've got that White Claw shit too. I don't really want to touch that though. I'll just have a homebrew. Yeah, but could you say the opposite? Could you say like this is the first time a black musician has overtly used the styles of a white musician styling? You couldn't say that, right? Man, you could do anything back in the 70s. The album has been reissued multiple times and was remastered in 2016 as part of the Who Can I Be Now box set. David Bowie released his 8th album, Diamond Dogs, in May of '74. His final album in the glam rock genre contained 2 songs, Rock and Roll With Me and 1984. Those exhibit elements of funk and soul, which predicted the musical direction for Bowie's next project, and that would be this album. The album also reunited Bowie with his former producer, Tony Visconti. This is Tony right here. Okay. Who provided string arrangements and helped mix the album in London. Visconti co-produced much of Bowie's work for the rest of the decade. In early '74, Bowie wrote the soul song Take It Right. Take It In Right. Oh, baby, Take It In Right. As a single for Scottish singer Lulu. While producing the session in New York City, he met funk guitarist Carlos Alomar, an Apollo Theatre session musician who also played with James Brown, Chuck Berry, and Wilson Pickett. One of Bowie's favourite records was Brown's Live at the Apollo, so meeting a musician who played at the Apollo meant a lot to him. Alamar had never heard of
I'm not
Bowie
like some madman.
He's not like some madman, is he? No, he's not. When they met, they immediately connected and formed a working relationship that would last almost 15 years. Alamar became Bowie's guide into Black American music. I mean, I don't know. Like, are we allowed to talk about black music? I don't know. Apparently you are. In July 74, towards the end of the first leg of his Diamond Dogs tour, Bowie resided at the Tower Theatre in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, where he recorded the live album David Live. That's a cool name. During his stay, he visited Sigma Sound Studios in Philadelphia to work on recordings for American musician Ava Cherry, who he allegedly had an affair with. Oh, getting a little on the side. Sigma was the favorite studios of writer-producer duo Kenneth Gamble and Leon Huff, co-produced for Philadelphia International Records, the home of many well-known black American... So much about race here. Following the end... You know, there's no wonder racism is such a huge issue. They're mentioning it even back here in the 70s. There's no point mentioning black, right? Like, well-known American music... Why have you got to put well-known black American musicians? Woo! Suddenly you got to pay more attention because they're black? It doesn't make any sense. Following the end of the first leg of the tour, Bowie returned to New York City to mix David...
I wrote this script.
That one still trips me up. I wrote this script. He returned to New York City to mix David Live. I just farted. Where he requested a list of black albums to hear in preparation for his... So he literally found black albums. I mean... Okay. For the backing band, Bowie wanted to hire Mother, Father, Sister, Brother, a rhythm group of over 30 session musicians that resided at Sigma Sound. All members were unavailable except for percussionist Larry Washington, so Bowie traveled to New York City, blah, bling, blong, blang. We're hearing about all the artists here. The Philadelphia sessions. Demo work began at Sigma Sound on the 8th of August. Official work starting 3 days later upon Visconti's arrival. Before Philadelphia, Bowie had spent most of his recording career in Britain, where recording methods were different from those in the US. At Olympic and Trident Studios in Britain, engineers applied equalizers and reverb as they were recording, so these effects were heard upon playback. That's cool. At Sigma Sound, however, the engineers applied effects during the mixing stage. As a result, Bowie was initially confounded when hearing the tapes back, as according to biographer Chris O'Leary, he hadn't heard his naked voice on tape in years. Right. Take It In Right, now retitled Can You Hear Me, was one of the first songs recorded for the album. The sessions moved rapidly, taking 2 weeks to complete. It was agreed early to record as much of the album as possible live. That's cool. The full band playing together, including Bowie's vocals. Oh, wow, they recorded vocals at the same time as the band? That's kind of unusual. As a single continuous take for each song. That's amazing, dudes. So they just went into the studio and went, all right, we got the song down, hit record, and everybody go for it. No dubs, no overdubs, no, oh, well, maybe they went back and added shit, but the bulk of it was like, we're going. Are you ready, Mr. David Bowie? Are you ready, 30 black musicians that I hired? Let's go. Let's go. Off they go. Daleski, I love many Bowie songs. They resonate with me. There you go, Dale. And Dougski in the house. How you doing, Dougski? Phillies fan, Dale. Hope that keeps Wavy happy too. According to Visconti, the album contains about 85% live David Bowie. That's rad. During this time, Bowie's cocaine addiction heightened at a rapid pace, so he stayed up at day and night recording while the band slept. Now hold on, how did he do that if they did it all live? So he just did overdubs by himself. According to Peg, an anonymous musician recalled Bowie waiting several hours for coke to be delivered from New York, and he wouldn't perform until it came. Okay. Hey, Elsa, how you doing, man? Oh, the cocaine. Candy to the stars. Right on. It says here, his cocaine use affected his voice, creating what Bowie himself called a real... I'm going to get a beer. I'm going to do that. In fact, I'll do that very soon before we hit the playback on the record. His cocaine use affected his voice, creating what Bowie himself called a real raspy sound that prevented him from singing higher notes. Wow. Bowie believed the album contained the highest notes he ever sang on record. Okay. The sessions at Sigma Sound were productive and resulted in numerous outtakes, including After Today, Who Can I Be Now, It's Gonna Be Me, a re-recording of 1972 single John, I'm Only Dancing, titled I'm Only Dancing Again, Laser, Shilling the Rubies, a scrapped recording of Bruce Springsteen, It's Hard to Be a Saint in the City, and Too Fat Polka. After these sessions, Bowie was eager to perform his new work live. He embarked on a second... Okay, so we don't want to know about that. We're trying to keep to the record here. The New York sessions. So the Soul Tour ended in December of 74 after Bowie and Visconti and Alomar regrouped at the record plant in New York to record 2 new songs, Fascination and Win. At this point, Bowie told Disc the album title would be Fascination after the newly recorded track. John, I'm Only Dancing Again was still in the track listing, but the 2 new tracks replaced Who Can I Be Now and Somebody Up There Likes Me. Okay. This is how they decided the songs to go on the album, obviously. Visconti, who believed the album was completely finished, returned to London to begin mixing, but Bowie remained in New York working on separate mixing. During this time, former Beatle John Lennon was working at the record plant on the 1975 covers album Rock and Roll. Lennon, who was in what he later termed his lost weekend period, he had met Bowie in LA at a party hosted by Elizabeth Taylor. In September of the year before, the two connected and decided to record together. With Alomar, the two convened at New York City's Electric Lady Studios, recording a cover of Lennon's Beatles song Across the Universe and a new song, Fame. Okay. In Visconti's absence, the session was co-produced by Bowie and Maslin. Alongside Alomar, Bowie invited Slick and drummer Dennis Davis, making their debut on a record from Bowie, Blah Bling Blong Blang. The mixing was completed at Record Plant in January of the 75. According to Peg, Bowie was apologetic and asked if 2 tracks could be replaced by Across the Universe and Fame. They replaced Who Can I Be Now and It's Gonna Be Me. Later on, Visconti, the producer, said, they were beautiful songs and it made me sick when Bowie decided not to use them. I think it was the personal content of the songs which he was a bit reluctant to release. Interesting. I thought it might have been a limit of how much time can fit on a piece of vinyl. Small and Juiceless in the house. Hello, how you doing? How's it going? So, we want to learn a little about songs. Side 1, the opening track is the title track, which Bowie said was just about young Americans, more specifically a newlywed couple who don't know if they really like each other. Whoops. Bit late for that. Well, they do, but they don't know if they do or if they don't. The song also presents new lyrical direction for the artist. Instead of shady characters living in a world fraught with darkness, Young Americans shows typical American teens. References are made to the Watergate scandal and McCarthyism, while the line, I heard the news today, oh boy, is from the Beatles song A Day in the Life. There you go, a little tip of the hat there to the Beatles. We don't need to go through every track by track, but there you go. There's tracks there, and we will hear them from the record. And there you are. Here are the outtakes. Artwork, here we go. For the album cover artwork, Bowie initially wanted to commission Norman Rockwell to create a painting, but retracted the offer when he heard that Rockwell would need at least 6 months to do the job. Okay, so what? That's too long to paint? According to Peg, another rejected idea was a full-length portrait of Bowie in a flying suit and a white scarf standing in front of an American flag raising a glass. Okay, that might have been pretty cool actually. The final cover photo, a backlit and airbrushed photo of Bowie, was taken in LA on the 30th of August, 74. by photographer Eric Stephen Jacobs. Using that photo, Craig DeCamps designed the final cover at RCA Records' New York City office. Stanford calls it one of the classic album covers. Okay, just as a reminder what that looks like. I don't know if that's a classic. No, I wouldn't call that a classic album cover. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not seeing any. I mean, it looks like it could be on the cover of New Idea magazine. You know, I'm not vibing with how rad they're saying that is. But anyway, the release. RCA released Young Americans as the lead single to the album. And on the B-side was a Ziggy Stardust track, Suffragette City. In the US, it was released in edited form with a length of 3:11, omitting 2 verses and a chorus. Dang, dude. Reached number 18, blah, bling, blong, blang. The album was released on the 7th of March, 75, catalog number RS1006. Now, that could be a good interjection to see what catalog number this is. Is this an original pressing? Made in the USA, 1975, RCA Records, APL 1-0998-A skins, and similar -B skins. Well, what we'll do is we'll bring up the Discogs and we'll find out what this pressing is that I've got in my hot little hands here. Blah, bling, blong, blang. Critical reception. Young Americans was released to a generally favorable reception, particularly in America. Billboard wrote that the album should not only endear Bowie even more to his current fans, but should open up to an entirely new avenue of fans for him. Let's not forget this is his 9th album. So if you're not on board with Mr. David Bowie by album number 9, you might not get on board. Although he is targeting a black audience here, maybe he's doing that, you know, to get the black vote. I mean, this is just straight off the Wikipedia. You can't come at me for this. It further described by Record World as his most compelling album to date. Cashbox called the artist the brightest star in pop music constellation. Some mixed reviews. Some enjoyed certain tracks but disregarded the collection as a whole. Rolling Stone's John Landau praised the title track and thought the rest of the album works best when Bowie combines his renewed interest in soul with his knowledge of English pop rather than opting entirely for one or the other. Who really cares what these critics think, you know? A bunch of wankers write words. Who really cares? This one, though, several critics were negative. Okay. The Village Voice, Robert Christgau, described the record an almost total failure and said, although the amalgam of rock and Philly soul is so thin it's interesting, it overwhelms David's voice, which is even thinner. Harsh. He did appreciate Bowie's renewed generosity of spirit to risk failure. Damn, dude, that's a harsh review. Blah, bling, blong, blang. Influence and legacy. Retrospectively, Young Americans continues to receive mixed reviews from critics and fans. Earl Wine felt the album was affected by a lack of strong songwriting, although he did praise the title track and the Fame song, saying Young Americans is more enjoyable as a stylistic adventure than a substantive record. This Cobbo regarded the album as distinctly a transitional record. In the Pitchfork, stating it doesn't have the mad theatrical scope of Diamond Dogs or the formal audacity of Station to Station, but it comes off as an artist trying very hard to demonstrate how unpredictable he is. Okay, Wankers review music. More Wankers review music. Bowie himself, this is interesting, Bowie himself expresses mixed statements about the album. In the 70s, he described it as the phoniest R&B I've ever heard. This is him talking about his own record. If I ever would have got my hands on that record when I was growing up, I would have cracked it over my knee. That's cool. He would further voice his dislike for the record and describe it as a phase in 1976. Bowie would later reverse his stance in the 1990s, saying, I shouldn't have been quite so hard on myself because looking back, it was pretty good. It's pretty good white, blue-eyed soul. I thought you were going for black, but now it's white? Shit. Mal Pessy's in the house. How you doing, man? Despite the overall mixed reception, Young Americans was voted Bowie's 9th best album. Coincidentally, it's his 9th release, and it's also his 9th best. That's intriguing. Blah bling blong blang. Reissues. The album's been reissued on CD. Bonus tracks came out in 91. Blah bling blang blang. 2007 reissued. Special edition included accompanying DVD containing 5.1 surround sound mixes. Blah bling blong blang and the track listing. This is what we've got in our hot little hands. Young Americans on track 1 on side 1. Win, Fascination, and Right. 4 tracks. Side 2 skins. Somebody Up There Likes Me, Across the Universe, Can You Hear Me, and Fame. So 4 tracks, totaling a length of 40 minutes. Quite a short album. Now, what I want to do here is go to the Discogs machine and find out exactly what pressing I have in my hot little hands of this album. Because I told you that I did pick this up in a bundle of other records in an op shop for $20. This could be the greatest find of my lifetime, or it could just be not worth anything at all. Elfstar's been listening to a podcast about the FTX trial. Ah, dude, that's big news. And by the way, crypto's pamping right now. Hex is pamping, Pulse is pamping, Pulse Chain's pamping. It's all pamping right now. Bitcoin's wobbling around. Yeah, pretty interesting day to see the charts going up, but we're not here for that right now. Let's see the album known as Young Americans. Young Americans, all versions. So, what have we got here? The master release versions. More, I want to see the versions. Show me the versions. Title format. Okay, so we've got a US pressing here. Here it is. APL 10998. You see this here? That's the one I've got in my freaking hot little hands right now. RCA Victor, APL 1-0998 A and B. So this is the Hollywood pressing. Hollywood pressing. Let's learn about this pressing. So this did come out in 75, as did the other versions. Track A1, Win, Fascination, Right. B, Somebody Up There Likes Me, Across the Universe, Can You Hear Me, Fame. Yes. So there's 50 for sale right now in the marketplace from $7 or $8 Australian. 5,163 cobbers have this, and 1,289 likewise want it. So you're not going to sell this for jack shit. The highest this has ever sold for is 80 Australian buckaroos. The lowest it's ever sold for is $9.46. So what I'm seeing here is a record that's worth nothing. Essentially, this little piece of vinyl that I have in my hands is not worth anything at this particular juncture. In the year 2023, the best thing you could do is just hang on to it, enjoy it, stash it, and then come back in 20 more years and see if things have changed. What we're going to do, though, today is we're going to listen to it. We're going to enjoy an audio-logical sound-escape presentation. What am I waffling about? I'm going to go and get a homebrew beer. Then I'm going to come back. We're going to put this on the turntable, and we're going to enjoy. I'm going to join you in the chat, and we're going to listen to the album. David Bowie's Young Americans. Let me go and get that homebrew! Exclamation drink. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not like some madman. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Mwah.
Build a hole.
Fucking love you, bitch.
I want to mow the lawn and go fishing.
I just farted.
All right. Hey, before we go on any further, have you all heard this album before? It's not like, this isn't like ground shattering, like you've all heard it, right? I'm assuming you've all heard it. I know you haven't had one of these though. This is one of my homebrews. You might have heard the David Bowie album before, but you've never had a brew like this. Get it into you. Oh, I didn't tilt that hardly enough. Look at that. Foamy one. I have heard it, yes. Yes, Dale, have heard it. I want to mow the lawn and go fishing. Trumpet. Exclamation bitch. Gives head. Oh shit, Elfsar. Crikey. I mean, okay. That's a bad pour. Look, while we let that settle, let's bring the chat over here so I can join you guys on screen, because when we play the record, I'm not going to be mic'd up. I'm going to just be in chat. So I'm going to just add myself to the Chisel chat here and say, is this on? Yes, it's on. I'm in the chat with you, yahoos. You'd be killed in Canada for that pour. You know what? You can never be sure with a home brew what's going to happen. I mean, technically you should know because it's the same, you know, the same carbonation drops. But sometimes home brews are a bit more flat. Sometimes they're a little bit more carbonated. In this case, it's a little more carbonated. It's bloody marvelous, though. Let me also give this record a bit of a clean. I'll give it a bit of a dusting, right? I have wet cleaned it before we did this stream, but I will get on and give it a good blow through. Side A skis first. Just get as much of the dust off there as possible. This should be all right. Malpezzi, I just made it to 75 followers on Kick. Hell yeah, dude. Congrats on that one. Get that kick into you. All right, folks. Well, let's get over to here and let's crank up the old machine skins and play this record in all of its freaking glory. Here comes side A of Young Americans by David Bowie. And beer and chat and homebrew and music and good times in your life. Crank that shit. Yeah, man, this is going to be fun. Here we go, folks. I'm going to crank it up now. Side 1 skins and David Bowie's Young Americans from 1975. His 9th best album and his 9th album released. This is side A skins. Get it into you. Cheers, all. Get your dancing shoes on. Okay, so did you not listen? I'm stopping that because the very first thing that was said in the chat needs a wet clean. I just said I wet cleaned it. I wet cleaned this album. It says on the cover. It says on the cover. Someone wrote in pen something here. What was it? Someone wrote on the cover. No good. Rippled. No good rippled. So what should I do here? I mean, as you could see, there's a bit of a warpage. Like the record's not circular. Let's just that sound quality was awful. All right, you know what? I'll wet clean it again. Can I wet clean it on the turntable? Can I wet clean it while it's laying there, or do I have to take it off the turntable? Where is my I've got a little it's still damp from when I actually did wet clean it. Let me just go and get some water, right? But I don't know what to do. I don't know what I can do. I'll just get this wet, a little bit of dampness. Needs a wet clean. I don't really want to do it on the turntable, right? I don't think I should do it on the turntable. I'll take it off the turntable and we'll do it here. Stop using salt water to do the wet clean. Classic. Dude, I had 2 surfs today. My first surf this morning. The conditions are absolutely brilliant. It's firing up there at Crookies. And my first surf, my first wave of my surf this morning, I cooked it. I didn't really cook it. I just pulled out, like I pulled the ejection button. And the board, because the wind is so strong offshore, the board blew back. And by the time I was coming up, the board hit me in my head. And after that, I couldn't recover. I was like, fuck, I felt really bad. Like I felt really lame. And so that surf was shithouse. So then I only got 2 waves basically. And then I came back here and just chilled out for a little while. And then all day, the surf has been firing. Perfect nor'east swell, west-northwest wind. Just perfect conditions. So I went out for a second hit and I sucked even harder. All that footage from the second surf, I just deleted it. So today's surf goes up. Oh, it's already gone up half an hour ago. It's just the worst, eh? Board to the head. Yeah, dude. I got hit in the head. I slow motioned it too. You see it pretty clear on my my YouTube video. While I wet clean this, go over to my YouTube channel and check the today's surf video. You'll see it. The very first wave I get, or I don't get, is when my board hits me in the freaking head. What are you guys talking about in the chat? Gentlemen having sex with grandmas? Jesus, I look away for 1 second.
Yeah.
Exactly, Marty gets it. I go into the bathroom for 1 second to get a wet cloth and I come back and I see grandma sex talk in my chat. You dudes, you need to be on your best freaking behaviors. I'm doing the best I can here, folks, but I don't know. This could be one of the shittiest vinyls you've never heard in your life. So it's wet cleaned. I'll even give it another blowskins. We're on kick, and when in Rome, the vinyl's probably just fried. Yeah, I don't believe we can we can't really revive this any more than what we have done already. I think it is what it is. We're doing the best we freaking can, but I don't know if it's going to be... I don't think we can get any better than what we've already got. So let's fire it back up and see how it goes. That's side A, isn't it? Yeah, side A skis. That's the best I think we're going to get, so we'll just go with that. Let's take 2, folks. David Bowie's 1975 release, Young Americans, his 9th studio album. Ironically, often regarded as his 9th best album. This is Young Americans Side A. Starting with the title track, Young Americans, on a warped piece of vinyl. Look at that warpage, man. It's not even circular. Shut up. Here comes the music. Keep it down. Well, there you go, folks. Side one of the epic album by David Bowie, Young
I wrote this script.
I wrote the script. I'm glad you did. Young Americans. Now, hello, Comtech, by the way. Thanks for swinging by. Are you enjoying this crypto pamp? That's going to be weird. That is going to be weird. I just got to address one thing. That track, Fascination, is credited as music by Luther Vandross, whereas every other track, aside from the Beatles cover, is written by Bowie. That one wasn't. It says words by Bowie and Luther Vandross, but music by Luther Vandross. Bizarre. Also, how weird was the start of that album? The wobble, the record isn't circular. Like when you watch the needle on the outer track, it was going around and then it would go in and back out like it was overtaking. It's like passing a slower track or something. That Bowie Reznor song comes to mind. Trent Reznor did a track with David Bowie. I can't think of what that was. Either way, I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. Side 2 features 4 more songs. Somebody Up There Likes Me is the opening track. Then there is Across the Universe, which is the Beatles cover. Then there's a track called Can You Hear Me? And finally, the banger Fame, which is also co-written by Lennon, Bowie, and Alomar. So let's put on side 2 skins of this record onto the vinyl machine, and let's pray that it's not as bad as side 1 on that opening track, because crikey, that was pretty bad. We did wet clean this. We wet cleaned it, and it should be good to go, but the first track could be a little How's Your Mum? Fame is the best track on the album, prove me wrong. Ooh. I'll tell you what I really loved about that last track, Right? The bass had 2 sounds to it. It opened up with this fat bass sound. It was fat, like P-H-A-T. And then near the end of the track, they must have hit a pedal and the bass turned into this tony, woodeny, bouncy, whereas before it was like flaka, flaka, flaka. Then it went to this, how am I going to do it? Ticka, ticka, tick. That wasn't, forget that, but you know what I'm saying. It changed, right? You'll love the bass on Fame. All right, I'm looking forward to it. Let us get it going. Side 2 begins with the album, the song Somebody Up There Likes Me. This is side 2 of the album by Mr. David Bowie. Came out in 1975. The album is called Young Americans. This could be a sketchy playback, but here we go, folks. Side 2 skins. Somebody Up There Likes Me. Hope they like the record. Cheers, easers. Get it into you. Holy moly, folks. I mean, I'm not the only one that probably thinks this, but that track, that's the cracker, right? They left the best to last. That song is awesome. In fact, I'll go as far as to say that the opening track, Young Americans, banger. The other tracks in between, a lot of that was a bit of filler to get to fame. What would have been better, if I was to master this album, I would have gone with Young Americans up front. I would have gone with the Beatles cover up second, Across the Universe. Then I would have gone with Fame. And then I probably would have put that song, that one that's not written by Bowie. What was it called? Right. Oh, sorry, no, that's not right. Fascination, music by Luther Vandross. I would have done those on side one. But I'm not the master of the album, right? But I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed listening because we've all heard those songs, but have we sat down and listened to the album as it's meant to be enjoyed, with drinks and just through from A through to B, right? A side, B side. I was really rad. Really enjoyed it. And that conversation from Comtech about stereo separation, I literally use that same technique on nearly every take. On every instrument, on every vocal take, I'll do some form of stereo separation in post-production on my music. So when I hear it happening in modern music or in, 1975, I love it. Like, I'm like, oh yes, yes. It's also a good way to ensure that you don't over-saturate the sound. Like, let's just say,
I'm not like some madman.
I am.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I am a madman, and I'll go to town with you. Dale, you mentioned multi-tracking. Some of the That Some stuff has like, I think the most I've ever done is like 35 tracks all stacked. And so when you have 35, maybe you've got like 8 of them are guitars, and if you just put them all together, you're going to max that shit out. So you have to do some form of stereo separation and like squash that out across the frequency stratosphere, so you don't max it all out in its entirety. So that's what I use stereo separation for. The first time I heard of it was when Lachlan, I don't know if Lockie's watching on Facebook, when Laptop, the sound engineer with Tracer, when he mastered, well, he mixed and mastered. No, I mastered. He mixed. He did a bit of both. But anyway, the Armageddon. When Duncan and I finished the Armageddon and we sent the stems to Lockie, we had a dumbed down version of it. We had what we thought was a good mix down. And when it came back from Lockie, it was like so much better. And the key was, I asked him how he did it all. He said a lot of stereo separation. So you can make a sound, or you can make an album appear bigger and fill more like autological space, like sonically you can fill more of that gap by stereo separating. You don't just have to do it with vocals, you can do it with drums as well. I do it with everything. The only thing I don't do it on is a bass take. But I have done it on a bass take where I've done 2 basses at the same time, just to be stupid. Like, why would I do that? Because you can. Stupid. Back up in the chit chat. Dugsky, I agree, gives, although I didn't think Across the Universe was poor. You guys were saying, the chat was saying that the Across the Universe, the Beatles cover wasn't great. I thought it was fine. I thought it was actually quite rad. It was true to the original, but it was definitely slammed with David Bowie, right? Like, it was plastered with his take. Since it's in there, it seems it should be used. The idea of stereo separation. Benon, I must tell you, your latest album, very impressive. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, man. Thank you, Dale. Cheers, dude. Armageddon is great. That was fun doing the Armageddon with Duncan. I still say Portia must do a song with you. We have done songs. Portia and I have done songs. They are. No, she hasn't. No, she has. Yes, she has. Claudia, the Cloudbacks. Portia's done some stuff. I can't sing for shit, yet I do it anyhow. That's my mantra, Dale. I can't sing for shit either. I'm the same, right? I can't sing at all, dude. But fucking hell, I enjoy trying, and that's the someone once said, and this has stayed with me for as long as I've been messing with music. Someone once said, quote unquote, "Your enthusiasm far outweighs your ability," and I think that pretty much sums my music up in every, like, in all aspects. I'm enthusiastic, and that enthusiasm, if you're looking at a scale, is way more higher than the actual ability to do anything. So the enthusiasm drives, and the ability is in second place. I love that comparison. I think that's pretty accurate, pretty apt. And it encourages me to go further and learn. Speaking of that, I'm kind of busy digitizing all these tapes. Once I've finished that project I've got this mini DV digital video deck that I had repaired, and I want to just go through all those tapes and get them done, and then sell that thing and get it gone. So I've got the original tapes, but I've got the digital encodes of them, and that's kind of taking up a lot of my time, because that's got to be done in real time. So each tape takes 60 minutes to do. Plus I'm watching them and enjoying the old footage. But as soon as I'm done with that, I'm going to then go back and do my second covers. You know, I've got this idea of doing covers of hard songs. The first one was called Hard Song, and I just covered one hard song. It was Tommy the Cat by Primus. Well, I want to do, the next EP will be 2 hard songs, and it'll be called Hard Songs. And I'm thinking, I don't know for a fact, but I'm thinking I'm going to do 3 Days by Jane's Addiction and Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. I think those are the 2 that I'm going to do on that. Two, it's just going to be called Hard Songs. And then I'm going to do 3 hard songs, and basically there'll be the idea that there'll be a never-ending, because it'll just keep going up and up. And so basically in 5 or 6 years, there'll be a release from me that'll have 20 covers that'll all be hard songs to cover that I've, and what I'm getting at is that my ability far outweighs my enthusiasm. Got that backwards. Oh man, my television just turned off. My big chat just turned. Oh shit! Can you see this? Check this out. I don't know if you can see this. Check this. Look at this. Wow, my chat screen's having an absolute hissy fit. That's cool. Whoa, spooky. But yeah, the idea is that there's never going to be an ending to this project. I'll always be able to try to learn these songs, and arguably some of them might not be as hard as what, like, you might say. Well, I think Bohemian Rhapsody will be quite hard, but then I want to also do some Doors stuff, and typically the Doors, that's now gone. The Doors are quite easy, right? Quite easy to cover. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, I like music. I'm enjoying it, and I've got no time right now, but it's fun. But thank you all for being here with me on this particular stream. That record was fucking fantastic. I am going to digitize that while I've still got this out here. And yeah, I mean, as we said, the warping on the side of the album seemed to affect the opening tracks of each side, and then as the needle moved further to the center, it got progressively better. So that's interesting. Vinyl is a funky thing. I mean, that's 48 years old, that album. And how long has it been sitting in someone's collection, like gathering dust and moss and dirt and shit? It's a wonder it works at all. Either way, folks, thanks for being here. Go selves here, do yourselves, get yourselves. You know what you should do right now, while this stream's ending? Go over to my YouTube channel.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
With peace and love, go to my YouTube channel and check my Today's Surf, where my board hits me in the head on my first wave, and then you'll see the 2 other waves are shit. And basically, I've had a terrible day because I surfed poorly on that morning surf, and then I went back for an afternoon surf and surfed even more poorly. So I'm a little pissed off at myself. I'm a little angry at myself, but it's there for you to see. I'm so angry that I deleted all of the afternoon's footage because it was so shit. So I just erased everything, and I've just given you the morning surf, but you see the board hit my head. It's probably a few times I've been hit on the head with some kind of implement, and it might have affected me. What are you suggesting? I need to go and get that checked out. Maybe I do. Hey, see you later. Jesus.
Kicking it with Gives a Minute on Kick.